Good afternoon and welcome to the FX Daily Wrap-Up. And we're seeing a relatively quiet session here. We're seeing cable pare back a bit here. We've got this little resistance level, and then we're just kind of sliding back here. But we're seeing the dollar pick up a little bit here and the euro edge back. It's a relatively quiet session. We're also seeing the dollar yen push just beyond here where we had this 833 area here, but this is what we're looking at where the market potentially can run into some pushback here. If you look on here, this actually just exceeds the 50% back of this most recent move. There's 839, but we're looking potentially, and let's go back here. Doggone it, wrong here. Right, here we go. Sorry about that. So here's 843, the 50%, and I posted in the room. I'm looking for a move up here to about 846 right there. That's not a bad area to go and step in if you want to go on and grab the short side here with dollar yen. Doesn't mean we can't push up a little bit higher, but as I mentioned, this is a decent area. My thoughts this morning, when we came up here, we did go in and fade against this 833 area here, or 831-ish. But but we did go in and pair back. But I quickly covered, and my thought was we can still push higher. And I like this 846. My thought was, hey, look, they'll try and probably goose the stops a little bit. And we're seeing a little bit further dollar strength. We can come up here in the dollar probably around this 97.16. 21's huge, but once again, just like the dollar yen for 46, I think we can have a little bit of trouble here at 46 here on the cash dollar index. Just one moment. 97.16. The same, I mean, kind of probably in comparison to the move, as I said, where I'm thinking that we can make it appear to 846 here in the dollar yen, which would be just above the 50%, which is at 839. There we go. So right there at 846. Dollar CAD made a nice little run up here. We did have our bias chart support here for 30.98, but it fell a little bit short of that as we made this run up here in the dollar CAD. That 30.43 has been holding up like a champ. I thought, if the dollar were to succumb this morning, we could have gone on down to 29.95, but this 30.98 is pretty decent level. But, we made it up here on this 2-hour chart, or, had a strong close and not much follow through at all. So it's pretty interesting, but we do have the dollar index pushing up here against this 97.16. Euro coming down here to 12.45. Let's go and take a look here. Let's see. Let's pair back. We have 12.43 for our bias chart support here for Euro today. Let's see if that confluences with a fib. 1239 would be the 50%. The CPI, the core CPI, came in fairly firm, which, although the 25 basis point cut is on the table, not on the table, I mean, it's pretty much factored in it, and I would think a done deal. But part of this move, or an extended move, would be predicated on the thought that there'll be further cuts, and that kind of pulls on it. But I still think that in time we will get those cuts. Here's a key level that we talked about today here in the European crossover. And once again, if you're a subscriber with ForexAnalytix, we have that was an area we had our buy chart here, but we talked about 1285 being so huge because the market would have to get above that to generate some extended momentum. And we'll look at, you can see here on the daily how important that 1285 is. We were talking about that. I even mentioned it in the room right when we got there. And I mentioned, hey, look, that's some resistance here. It's be important for us to get beyond that. But like I said, we broadcast the European crossover webinar at 4 a.m. Eastern time, and then it's recorded and played back about an hour, hour and a half, basically about an hour and a half later, about an hour and a half before New York Open. Still is posted in the chat room, but we set up our scalp levels, and obviously, like I said, we were looking potentially at the market, if the dollar would have wavered, we were looking for 1306, but we knew that this was very important for this market to get beyond that, to generate the momentum we needed to push further up. So a little bit of a hiccup, but that being said, we have several Fed speakers today. I think they're going to be basically, let's say, singing from the same hymnal book. Kashkari's late in the afternoon, so that could certainly, we can see a, the dollars start to pair back. But I think in here is going to be some resistance coming into 97.16. Pesos kind of ease back again here. Nothing of any real significance. There was a little bit of news from Mexico, but I think with the central bank, but not any. I think they were saying they were going to keep on with their, like, I wouldn't say conservative policy, but appropriate, but not suggest any type of cuts or anything. They're just basically stay in the road. Here we are. We just hit 846 here with the dollar yen. So if you're looking at taking initial pot shots, then I think that's a better area to come in if you're looking for the dollar yen to continue to pair back. But we had 846. We've been looking for that, and looks like we just tagged it to the pip. Yeah, right here to the pip, 846 and a half. I taken a scalp short against this level. We came back, covered for 10, and then I thought, no, I think this market is going to push higher. And I thought they'd goose the stops, and the logical area for them to get to would be 846. So those that want to go in and put on their dollar yen shorts, that's a good area right there. And cable, like I said, it slid. We're just trading within this range here. Let's go back and pull up cable. I thought once again, the dollar weekend, I thought we could have pushed somewhat higher here, but once again, like I said, you can see the touches coming across here. Market struggled there, and we've just been on a slide. And cable, I mean, he's just got such a negative bent to it. It's hard for this market to do anything else here. With that, we're going in quickly take a look on the cross rates. Once again, like I said, it's a very, very quiet session here. Aussie yen is trying to make a little bit of a push up in here into this area. Come back here. And with the Aussie, and you can see here, we're looking at 75, 73. That's where we're coming up with our bias chart resistance for today. Certainly is, decent move. I mean, it's continuing to progress, but I look from some pushback to come in at 75, 73. Guppy continues to be just scraping here near the bottom here. We did push up a little bit higher today, but this market continues to languish, at these lows and just below the 136, which is huge. And you look on here, it's just been down, down, down like a submarine. Look at that. And we're just basically, at the bottom of the ocean, just scooting around. Not really a whole lot going here, except that we just remain, under this big level, which is 36. We can take a look at that here on the daily. That's a big, big, big level. And my thought was, as long as we stayed below this, we we're going to make a quick dive down here to 34.60, because we know with the sterling, it loves the 78%. But they've been trying to fight it down here. I thought the Bears would not have happened until we got there. But, I mean, boy, it's been a heck of a run for the Bears here anyway. So I guess I'm not trying to push it too much further. The rest of the market is relatively quiet. We did see gold pop up. But we've kind of come in a bit, obviously, on that stronger core CPI number, pushed us down. We saw a little bit of a pop. off of this 1412, and look, we've come in and succumbed. And that was my concern. I thought that was a good level to come in. I did not bite on that. And it did. You can see here where we came right down to 1412 and popped up. But as I said, we've turned around and rotated lower on here. And that was my concern. I thought we might just get through here after we had a pretty nice move and just flush it out and probably head down to 07. And I'm talking about the gold spot. We did go on to get a decent pop off of that 1412, but we've turned around and since weakened as dollars strength a little bit, but it's not so much a dollar move as it is expectations of rate cuts. Rate cuts, we are going to get the 25 basis point. I think that's fully baked in. There's not going to be any deviation from that, but it's the outlook, because the outlook is, what most we're looking for is a 75 basis point between now and December. Well, with the stronger core CPI, that's going to, what may happen is we will get the 25 basis point cut later this month, but we may not see anything again until the fall. I think maybe around October or something. And that's going to keep the gold market from turning around and zipping away. Because once again, like I said, the gold market is all about rate expectations, really not so much about the dollar or even stocks. If you look at the dollar, I've been, in the months in December and early part of the year, gold didn't react that much to the dollar. You get a little bit of a reaction, but not that much. And stocks, you might say, well, why the heck is gold way the heck up in here if stocks are, at all-time highs, and gold is lots of times seen as an alternative investment, safe haven? Well, that once again has to do more to do with rate expectations. Same thing with the S&Ps. I talked about that remember the previous Monday. I said the one place you don't want to be short at is in the equities market, because they're banking on a rate cut, and they're going to keep pushing that market. And I don't think the Fed's going to disappoint at all. Euro-Yen, once again, still relatively quiet. We're just trading in these quiet ranges, summertime trading. But as I mentioned, we do have Fed heads talking later today, and that's what's going to go on in Fred Williams, Bostic, Barkin's already spoken, Kashkari. Those will go on and should go on and get the dollar to go and ease back a bit. But I think the core CPI has probably shook the market up, maybe not shook it up, but dented some of the confidence a little bit. We may kind of hang around here, and then if we see in the inflation data we get tomorrow, we don't see a corroboration, and I don't think we will, that will probably allow the dollar then to go and pair back as we close out the week. That's all we have here for the daily wrap-up. Thanks for joining us, and have a great rest of the day trading in a very, very quiet market.